blessing on it. Too real, this ain't metaphoric. We just put the I in iconic. Buzzing like I'm electronic. Yeah, I put a blessing on it. See me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest. Holy water dripping from my neck to my crep, so I'm two-stepping on it like.
I only gave him one drink.
Everybody, welcome to the Rambling Gypsy podcast. I'm Tiffany Foy, and we are in my she shed today, and we are doing a little change up. This is Creed Fisher for everybody. If you guys do not know Creed Fisher, this is Creed Fisher, and he is going live on
my Facebook,
on his Facebook channel. And so this is a first for me to do a live. We've done a live podcast before, but this is the first time we've done a live and a recorded at the same time. So you
ain't nothing but a thing.
You threw a wrench in my thing.
First time for everything.
Yeah, there is. So I have a lot to ask you. I have a lot to talk about. You ready?
Yes, I'm totally ready.
All right. So, Creed Fisher.
Right here, baby.
The guy, the one, the only, the infamous. So we met through mutual friends, Mags, Uno Rios, and the first time, when you headlined Uno Rios, that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
And that was
2 years ago almost. So,
was it 2?
Yeah.
Was it 3?
A couple of years ago.
2? It was 3? We can call
2.
it 2. It's fine. It's whatever.
2 to 4.
Who's counting?
I think he's full of it.
Well, it is.
It was 2, but
we know who he is. But yeah, so it's been a minute. And then we were down at Uno Rios again, and then boom, we're reunited. And of course, you weren't there, but so.
I hear it was a good time, though.
It was a good time. It was so much fun. We had such a good time.
You know, I love Mags. So anytime things work out.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, he's a good dude.
I'm happy for him.
He's all right. We might keep him around.
Boy.
We might keep him around for a little bit. I don't know. We'll talk about that later off the lives. No, I'm just kidding. So I want you to tell everybody that from my side, from where I am, who is Creed Fisher? Where'd you come from?
I come from a little town.
Don't say vagina, because we all know that's where we all come from.
I come from Mama's. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I come from Mama's house.
Yeah. In the bathtub.
And that was in Odessa, Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's where I'm from, Odessa, Texas.
Odessa, Texas.
Out in the west, out in the oil fields of West Texas. Yeah. I grew up out there. My granddad moved out there back in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s. He was a tool pusher, roughneck, then the tool pusher for row and drilling. And, I don't hold it against him. I know he did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. You started with Odessa.
Yeah, back in those days, man. In those days.
Yeah.
My grandfather got me to Odessa, and 2 generations later, I got all my family out
of Odessa.
So
yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. And so then, I want to know where the music side came from.
Well, I was still living in Odessa. I was married for 12 years, raising my kids. Had 3 kids.
3 kids. Yeah. I have 3 kids.
Coming out of the Army, I was 21.
How long were you in the Army?
For 3 years.
3 years.
93 to 96. And I came out in 96, and I wasn't out of the Army very long when I met the mother of my children.
Nice.
And so I was married. I think I was about 22 when I got married.
Yep.
And then had JC when I was about 23, and I was a journeyman electrician.
Got you.
23 years out there, raised up my kids, and I got divorced in 2008, and that was kind of the catalyst to getting me into music, because I wanted to do music, but it's hard when you're raising a family,
right?
And especially when you're young.
Yep.
You don't really even know who you are back then when you're young and stuff. You're still trying to figure out who you are, and for whatever reason, I'm not blaming her or me. I'm sure it was a little bit of both of us, but I got divorced when I was 33, and I'd always wanted to do music. It was passion. I was a big Elvis fan, and then George Strait, and saw the girls throwing the panties on stage, and
decided that's just where you wanted to be.
Yeah, I want to do that.
That is a hell of a job.
That's a perk. This is nice. This is nice.
Yeah.
And
so it wasn't in the family. It was just you just decided really. That's what you. That's what you were thinking.
The only person that I know of that ever did music in my family was my grandfather on my mom's side.
Yeah.
and he did the local thing and used to play in the bands and play the bars back in the day.
The barns.
I never got to see him play or nothing like that, but from the stories I heard, it was, he was pretty good. He got, I think, maybe some interest in a record deal back in those,
Right.
we're talking 60s and early 70s, and it just, it's not a reality for people who live where we live.
Yeah.
It's usually not, but for me it worked out. But, he
mean-
was a severe alcoholic too, and that's hard to do. I think that kind of took it away from him, but in my family, that's the only other person I know of that did music.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where I get my voice from.
Do you have
I
a big
couldn't tell
family?
you. Not really. I have me and my sister.
Right.
I only have one sister,
Gotcha.
so there's only two of us. And then my dad had a brother and two sisters. Well, three sisters because they adopted. But so not a very big family, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
a loving family,
Right.
I had a lot of love. My families were different, man. They were a lot different on both sides. Like you could not get much different than my dad's side and my mom's side. And I think that has a lot to do with my music.
I feel
and
that.
why my music's like it is, you know. And I always tell people on my dad's side, I was getting Marty Robbins. That Gunfighter album was huge in my life. I actually cut Big Iron on my last album, Outlaw Influence Volume 2. And so I was getting a lot of country on that side. Marty Robbins, Don Williams, George Strait, all the old stuff. And then on my mom's side, and you got to understand, we lived right next door to each other. So I didn't have to go very far, to get this other side. And then on my grandma or my mom's side, I was getting Ted Nugent, Black Sabbath, all the Southern rock and roll stuff at the time during the late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
And so that's why my music, I think, is infused with rock and country. Because that's what I was raised on.
It's nice. It's a good blend. It's a
It
really
is.
good blend.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's the stuff I like.
Right.
But I'm hardcore, and Black Sabbath is my favorite rock band. So,
Really?
yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
I love that stuff. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
I hit a phase. I was a little, I don't say very sheltered life, but decently sheltered life. My dad wouldn't want me to go over there, and I think I was in 8th grade when my buddy Bernie Tucker handed me an Ozzy album, Ultimate Sin. And I wasn't really allowed to listen to rock to that point, and I think it just got to a point where my dad got tired of fighting me about it,
Right.
Like I came home with the Prince cassette one time, and my dad had watched the.
First of all, he just said he came home with a Prince cassette
Yes.
in Odessa, Texas.
Yes. And
Where
this
in
was
the
back
fuck
like-
did you find a Prince
We have a
cassette?
mall.
You have a mall
We had a mall
in
we still do.
Odessa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we had a mall.
So when those were called dime stores, Creed, when we were little. They were called dime stores. But
This was a mall.
there was a
It
mall,
the
an
only
actual
thing we
mall.
had. It was a Dillard's and everything. Man. It
Shut
was all right
up.
there. I
There,
swear.
oh my God.
It was all new to all of us.
Yeah.
Even my dad, If he had watched some show on like 60 Minutes or something about Prince, was a devil worshiper or something. I don't know, man. I can't tell you. I don't know. All I know is I got home with it, and he said, "What is that?" And he looked at it, and he threw it across the yard, the street, into the neighbor's yard.
Into the pasture.
And I went and got it, but
Right in a big pile of cow shit.
right in a big pile of cow shit. And I still listen to it, but when I got to about 8th grade, man, you know how it is.
Yeah.
When you get that old, you kind of almost raised, I was about 14, almost 15 years old, and I found Ozzy Osbourne, and the rest is history. Debauchery, pure debauchery. I actually got caught one time. We had a flat. I was maybe 15, 14 years old. My buddy was 16. He had failed a class. And we were out drinking beer, and we got pulled over. Well, no, we didn't pull over. We had a flat, so we're sitting there on the side of the road changing this flat, right? And our trunk is open. What do you think we had in it? A bunch of beer, baby. A bunch of beer.
I'm just sitting here thinking,
Couple
well, first of all,
cases.
you're 14, 15, and
14, 15 years old.
I'd already moved out by then, so.
You had no one to call. See?
Yeah.
I had to go home.
Yeah.
But it was funny, man, because I'm wearing this jacket and I have all these Aussie pins on it, you know? And I'm standing there, and this cop is grilling me, and he's like, and he looks down at my jacket, and he's like, who's that, your girlfriend? I never forgot that.
No, clearly. I mean, I'd still be in therapy.
Yeah. And that was my first MIP, and the only reason, and thank you, Lord, that I didn't join the Air Force, because they wouldn't take me.
Right.
Because I had the MIP. So, I'll regret nothing. It all worked out.
How did you get an MIP on the side of the road?
Because we had 2 cases of beer in the trunk, and we were changing a flat tire. And a cop pulled up behind us to see if he could help us change a flat tire.
I could just hear your remark. Well, no, but I got it. If you could just hand me a beer back there, that'd be really nice of you, sir.
What happened was,
Yeah.
what do you think's the first thing I
for
did?
a cold one.
The first thing I did as a little dumbass is go close the trunk. The cop walks up to me, can I help you guys? How y'all doing? No, we're just changing a flat tire.
Yeah.
Well, what's in the trunk? Why did you close the trunk? No reason.
Nothing.
So yeah, I got us busted. Wasn't the first time. I was only 14. I'm blaming it on them.
Right.
But yeah, I had to go home and tell the parents about the first MIP. There was more than one, but that was the first one. 14 years old.
14.
14.
Right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate.
But you didn't waste any time.
No, not at all.
Well, I've never had an MIP. I'm not going to say
You're
I'm
not missing anything.
No, I'm not going to say I've not been in trouble. We've all got our stupid shit we've done. That's a fact. But so coming from there, you were a journeyman until you were 20. Would you say 28?
No, I started about when I was about 20. I went to work, and the first place I went to work was building pole line, just out in the oil fields,
right?
Which is hard, It's seriously manual labor.
So my dad was an electrician by trade his entire life, and
that's cool. Yeah,
and I have been asked more than once. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, can kind of do things and figure it out or whatever. And I was asked by my ex-husband one time. I was changing out light fixtures in my home, and I was putting a sconce in, and he said, well, how come you don't know how to wire this? And I said, because I don't have to. My dad has been an electrician his entire life. That is one thing that
I've never had to do.
Can I? Absolutely, but that's one thing I'd never had to do. And so but
hey, it's good to have a dad that can do things like that.
Yes.
I think for me it was just a family thing, My one grandpa was an electrician, both uncles, a couple cousins,
right.
My dad.
Yeah.
So it was a thing where I tried to avoid it at first, but I got out there and realized what real hard-ass work is. Mm-hmm. And I just decided, I don't think I'll be an electrician. Because you'd have hard days, don't get me wrong, but you'd have easy ones too.
Yeah.
And, it's challenging. It's really challenging.
It's very challenging.
Especially when it comes to control circuits and stuff like that. I mean, even when you're building pole line, there's some intelligence to it, You got to be smart regardless, but
well, you got to, when
it comes to doing
you can blow yourself or somebody else literally off of a pole like it's the 4th of July.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up.
No, that's called a fluctuation. Yeah.
And I almost killed myself a few times.
Oh my gosh.
Not gonna lie, but
yeah.
Luckily I got out of that. I wouldn't want to still be there today, man. I'm just blessed to be where I'm at. At 2000, I think it was 2017 was when the last time I got to quit my day job.
Really?
So I haven't worked a day job since then. And my fans have been coming through ever since then.
So before you, in 2017, when you were able to quit your day job, how long had you been playing music at that point to allow you to quit your day job?
People ask me when I started music.
Were you self-taught?
I always say 2012.
Were you
I
self-taught?
was self-taught on guitar.
Yeah.
I took 2 lessons.
Did you?
And then I just bought the book and went home
Yeah.
and tortured
Did you
people.
buy the book at the mall?
Nah. It was this little place called TJ Rabbit's Texas country store.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Mom and pop home place.
I love that.
You know, basically that's where I got started is TJ Rabbit's, man. Because that's where I would go do the open mic nights.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to get started in music and you want to do music,
Right.
open mic nights are a good way to start. You know, there's a lot of people that go in there and they're not very good. Mm-hmm. So you don't feel that bad when you mess up or
Right.
you don't do the best. You know,
That was a big thing here in New Braunfels a long time ago. At River Road Ice House, we would do it on Tuesday evenings, and my nephew was, or still is, and plays music, and very, very shy, couldn't do it. I mean, was just in, had a gig at the time. It was Tavern on the Green. He was young, but he was so intimidated he would lay his guitar flat on his lap. He would never look at anyone, so he would play his guitar flat, and he would keep his lyrics kind of shoved underneath So I remember, in fact, Summer Shandy, who was here, that was on my show a couple weeks ago, he was one of them that put the whole deal together, and we started a Tuesday night jam session like that, and singer-songwriter, just everybody come in and everybody kind of talk and visit and whatever, and I will never forget the first time that I convinced Tyler to come in there. Walk in and it's 5, 6, 7 guys at the time when it first started out. Then the next thing you know, it's 15, 20, and he was a nervous wreck. And when we walked in the door, everybody said, "Who's this?" And I said, "Hey, this is my nephew Tyler." And this was probably 10 years ago. Until this day, anytime that those guys see Tyler, they go, "Hey, how's my nephew Tyler?" That it's really kind of stuck. But he grew so much from that, and now he's playing stages all over, and he's doing
To me, I think that's the best place for a new artist to start. When new artists ask me to give them advice, that's one of the things I tell them. Find a good open mic night, just start going down and doing it. You're gonna fall on your face. I did many times. If that's gonna scare you off and make you quit, you won't make it past that. But if you just stick it. If you truly love doing it and you just stick it out, look where I'm at, look where he's at, I'm playing shows all over the country, doing what I love. I would have never done that without those open mic nights.
Do you feel like because the world has changed from then to now, so open mic nights are few and far between, everything is so much internet and so much the web and social media and platforms out there, do you feel, what would you tell a young artist that is trying to get out there today, that doesn't have the little hole in the wall dives, or doesn't have the singer-songwriter, or just the group of you guys of 10 to 15 that sit around a campfire at night or in your buddy's garage?
Well, social media is great. They're way different, the two of them.
Absolutely.
Social media is great to start getting your name out there, to start letting people know who you are. If you're good, people will see it, That's one way to do it, and it helps. So don't get me wrong, because you are in front of people, they're just not in front of you.
Right.
So you have to go out and get in front of people.
Real
in an
people.
Actual environment,
Yes.
So whether that means, and if the town you're in doesn't have something like that, then just work your social media as much as you can, and eventually you're going to have to move somewhere. If you live in a little town like me from Odessa, there's no way I could tour the country from Odessa,
right?
Because I can't put a band together there. If you want to put a band together and you're at that level, you have to go to some place that has that's like a music kind of scene. It doesn't have to be Austin or Nashville. It just has to be somewhere. Me personally, I moved to Canyon Lake when I first came here, and I was close to Austin, and I was a little close to San Antonio, so I'm like halfway in between. And you have to be kind of in a place like that to get those opportunities.
Right.
I did have a band in my hometown, but you can't tour the world from Odessa, Texas.
Right.
You know, and it's hard to even tour Texas from there because it's
Yeah.
so far out to the west.
Right.
So eventually you're going to have to move to a music town if you want to do it for a living. But you can work your social media as much as you can before that. I used to do that too. But eventually, you know, just to be able to put a band together, you're going to have to move to a place where musicians kind of go,
right.
you know.
Where they
Yeah.
gather and, and
Exactly.
become, where it's a community or yeah. Yep, I agree. So your first CD, your first band, first put together, how long from putting together a band was your first CD release? Tell us about that whole process.
I found my first band. I really got into music about 2010. That's when I first started trying to do it and writing songs and whatnot. And
Did that come naturally to you, writing?
no, not really, not at the time, because I hadn't really done it, you know. When I got out of my divorce, or my marriage rather, it like inspired me. It really inspired me because
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of adversity, you know, and turmoil inside and stuff. And that's where I wrote my first song. Until I wrote the first song, I had no clue I could do this. And I guess I needed that environment where I was so lonely and just in that place of my life where I had it in me, I had it inside, and I had to get it out, you know. And that's when I wrote my very first song, "I'll Keep Drinking."
Did you, when you wrote that, was there one person that you just reached out to and said, you know what, this is where I've started, this is what I've got, here's my lyrics,
Oh yeah.
how do I put
And I
how do I
forgot
put the
about this
music with the lyrics? And because I
forgot
talked
about
to
this.
so
When
many
you
different.
asked me earlier about my family, I totally forgot about my Uncle Lonnie, or my cousin rather, Lonnie Ingram. So he was big in me getting into music because he had done it. He had went to Nashville, he had cut an album. I had listened to his album, and it was pretty dang good, you know.
Right.
And so he was the guy. I was writing this song right after my divorce, "I'll Keep Drinking," and I went to him. You know, I went to the family reunion, and I knew he was the guy in the family that I respected musically of what he thought. And I went to him and I said, "Hey man, I want to run something by you." I said, I wrote this song." And he goes, "The jukebox can't replace the sound of your laughter. Those neon signs can't give me that same glow. The dance floor and those swinging doors, they don't soothe me like you did so many years ago."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Dang, that's pretty good, son."
That's some goosebumps right there.
You know, like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
I think I can do this. You
Okay.
know? And so that's where it all started. And I went home and just kept working at it and wrote the song. And then I recorded it locally and was like, "Man, this is really good." And everybody that heard it was like, "This is really good." And, I had all the haters back then. I was 35. To be honest with you, by the time I truly started music, I was 35 years old. Everyone wanted to tell me I couldn't do it.
Right.
It was too late.
Mm-hmm.
It was too hard. I was too old.
Right.
And I didn't listen to none of that.
Is it
I was
because
gonna
you're
do-
stubborn as hell, or is it just because?
I am.
Look, I know pot
Listen.
kettle. Look, I know, I get it. Yeah, yeah. But yes, yeah.
The only man more stubborn than me and my whole family is my dad. You know, I knew when they said I couldn't do it, I would do it eventually. I just didn't know how long it would take, and now we know.
Yeah.
It took 15 years.
And look at you. Look
I
at you.
became a country music star at 50.
There you go.
So
At 50,
you can do whatever you put your mind to doing.
and that is a fact.
So.
And accept transition. That's a huge thing that I just think that everybody. I've had this conversation with so many different musicians that whether they're younger, whether they're older, or it's adapting and accepting that it's not. You can pack a stadium or you can't pack a stadium. But whether the stadium is literally live and in front of you or if it's out here, you still have to understand that this is now the way of the world. As much as we don't want to accept that, that's how it's working. You can have the best of both worlds, but I feel like you can choose if you want to. It may work, it may not.
That is the biggest thing about music.
I mean, if you want to sit and play dive bars all you want.
The percentage of people that make it doing what I do, it's
It's tiny.
1%.
Tiny.
That's 10% of 1%. You know?
And here comes the electrician side of Creed.
0.1%.
This is what my dad would do. Map it all out, draw it.
That is the ratio of people who make it doing what I do. And when you throw in the factor of, let me let you start at 35 years old and never kiss one ass. Mm-hmm. I think it goes down to 0.02.
Right.
But here we are.
Here you are. And you did it. And you're still doing it.
I did it my way, and I'm still doing it. The story's not over yet. No, I'm just starting to write a book.
I feel like the story's just beginning.
I'm starting to work with a couple of writers.
Yeah.
One local.
Right.
And one from Nashville. And we're all three going to work together.
Nice.
To write my story. But I have a very unique story, 35-year-old electrician. Because it's like an inspirational story,
It is.
But
and
people telling you can't do things that you want to do.
I was told at a very, very young age that I couldn't, boobs and eyelashes were never going to get me anywhere. And at that point, I didn't even know what a sport was or a brawl was. And I was thinking, what in the hell? Yeah. And then here I am. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm going to throw enough fucking gum at the wall till something's going to stick.
Can't judge it.
And if it don't, I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah.
You have to have the talent, number one. You have to have
wherewithal.
You have to stick to your course, and be strong. But if you have the talent, I don't care how old you are, you can make it, as long as you're willing to work your tail off to do it.
Determination goes a long way.
And there's so many things that
strength is huge.
There are so many things in this world that have nothing to do with talent, Showing up on time has nothing to do with talent.
No.
The effort that you give something has nothing to do with talent,
Your
These
word.
Are things that don't
your
have
word.
Nothing to do. Yeah, your word.
Your word.
Your word has nothing to do with talent.
Yes. That's huge.
These are all things that you can. That, I don't care how much talent you have. Mm-hmm. You can put these in your repertoire, and if you have all those things going for you, you can go and do whatever you put your mind to do.
Do other people in Odessa, Texas say repertoire?
My vocabulary is extensive.
It's so good. Mine's not. I have a dictionary because mine is like Odessa, Texas. Yeah. So, you win some, you lose some. It's fine.
That you do.
But I'm very proud of you for.
You lose.
That's right. How you fall off the ladder, as long as you don't fall off the same way twice.
Exactly.
We're not even going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. I've had plenty of surgeries, and you too.
I know.
Yeah.
We have that in common.
We do. Can you imagine what the airports would do when we travel?
I saw you limping up there.
Yeah, you too. You too.
All the metal detectors are just going off.
Like I'm freaking.
I had titanium right above.
Yeah, I got some of that too.
Right above the thing,
I
go through that little.
The repertoire and the debacle
and it just pulls up this little, and I go through there and like, sir, we're gonna have to check you.
Yeah.
And it's just blinking right over my midsection. Mm-hmm. Can I wand you, sir? Yes, please.
I mean, might as well.
Might as well. I'm all titaniums.
Yeah, I have to carry. I guess you have to carry cards in your wallet and whatnot, so it tells them that it's really real, that you didn't get stuffed with.
Who I am, where I've been.
Yeah,
all that
no,
good stuff.
I have like an ID card and things that I have to. Nick has it, and she carries it when we fly. So when I start setting off alarms, they pull out my card and say.
I haven't had to do that yet because every time I've went through there, I've either been in a wheelchair or crutches.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
So when I just walk through there, I might need something.
Yeah.
Just setting off all the alarms.
Yep, it happens. Sometimes it's. I think maybe once or twice I haven't set off alarms, but now since
was it the hot alarm, the hot woman alarm that you set off?
I don't, it was loud and it never fails. I'm always getting frisked.
I bet you are.
It's the one. Do you want to go behind in the little closet? And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I really don't give a shit. Nope. Let's just get this over with so I can.
They did tell me the last time.
Get to where I need to go.
That's why.
Final destination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we made it.
Cheers. I'm so proud of you. So we are 5 CDs, 6 CDs, 20 CDs.
I have 14.
Albums.
I have 14 albums.
14 albums.
14, yeah. In 12 years.
Damn, it's a little bit.
That's so good.
14 albums in 12 years. And my fans are the reason why. Because I never had the money, man. I struggled. I had the music.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell my mom all the time I had a fortune in my head, you know?
Yeah.
It was just a matter if we could get it out of my head and onto paper. But once I finally got able, it was about 2019. I put my 3rd album out, Old School, and went number 2 on iTunes. And at that point, I had the money to start recording. Now I just followed the blueprint of the other artists I had seen
Right.
that were having success, you know.
What do you?
And I just started recording as much as I possibly could.
Put this.
So
consecutively.
Yeah. So you got to think about it. In 2019, I put out my 3rd album.
Okay.
And this year, 2024, I put out my 14th album. So from 2019 until 2024, I put out 11 albums. So that's a lot of albums in that period of time. You know, 11 albums in 5 years?
Yeah.
So that's all I did is just record and
And
put out
all
music.
these songs and this material, that's all you?
That's all me, yeah. And the thing about my music is you can't put out 11 albums in 4 years if it's all the same stuff, you know? It has to be different. You got to have country. You got to have southern rock. I put out a kids album.
That's just very interesting that you just said that, because I had a conversation a good 6, 7, 8 months ago talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about diversity and a kids album.
Yeah.
And
You can't be that
shot
active.
it completely. I mean, shot it down so freaking quick and so fast. And
Well, they tried to do that with me because I
was that your idea?
Yeah. It came from a situation. I'll tell you if you want.
Sure.
It came from a situation.
Why?
Relationship.
Why tell me? I need to know. I need to know all about this.
Well, it came from a relationship I had back in 2015. I had a relationship with this girl, and she had 2 young daughters. And
So your children. So you have I have 3 boys.
I have 3 kids.
Right.
1 boy and 2 girls.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
This was a relationship I had in 2015,
Okay.
and she had 2 daughters.
Okay.
And the 2 songs that I wrote came from her kids. Okay, one of her daughters stayed in timeout literally all day.
Oh, that's my nephew
right.
Tyler I was
Yeah,
talking about.
She was
Well,
horrible.
Tyler's just
So the timeout
I love
song.
Tyler.
I'm in timeout. Ba-da-da-da. I ran my mouth. It all was south.
Yeah.
I'm in timeout. So that was her song.
Oh, I feel like you wrote that about me.
And every time I see her,
I'm old as hell and I stay in timeout.
You put yourself.
I do, but at least I know where to go sit and think about my choices.
That's different. See, it's good for us.
It's taken me 51 fucking years to
It's
figure
a
out how to go
whole
set
different
myself
process.
into timeout and think about my choices. But yeah,
And then
that's adorable.
and then the older daughter.
What that song
How do
was
I
like.
say this?
Oh, shit.
She would eat everything.
Oh,
in
that was
the
me.
house.
Oh,
in
no.
the house.
Nope, I was
You would
outside.
have to put a chain lock thing around the fridge.
Oh,
And so her
I thought you
song-
meant like dirt and bugs and stuff, because
No,
that was me.
no, everything that we bought in the fridge was not
was gone.
safe.
Yeah.
And so I wrote her the burrito song. You know, I love burritos.
No.
I love Doritos.
Oh.
I love my Cheetos when they're flaming hot. So that was how those 2 songs came about all those years ago. This is 2015, and I mean that was in the back of my mind, you know, because
Yeah.
that was catchy, good stuff, and I'm I love kids, man. I love my young fans, and I did that album and I was told not to do it because I was just building. All my albums were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I get to this point where I want to do a kids album.
Right.
And they were like, you want to do a kids album that's not going to sell for shit?
Right.
Yes. I don't give a damn what it sells.
Right.
This isn't for sales. This isn't for anything but the kids.
Right.
And I knew what it was.
You two are great.
I love it.
And the world's always going to tell you not to do what you should do.
Well, of course they
You
are.
know, they're always going to, because they want to leech off of you.
That's exactly right.
Don't slow down this bad boy. They're getting 10% of everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
10% of everything.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
slow down this machine. Putting out a kid's album for autistic kids. Get out of my face.
Please.
I'm going to do what I
And
want.
thank you. Yeah.
And so, yeah, they call me Tink Tink now.
Yeah.
Because of my crutches, but
Hey.
that's another story.
Yeah. That's
But-
coming out like, yeah.
No, and I did
we're not
that,
touching
and I
that.
swear to God, it did exactly what they said it was going to do. It did not sell, not even close. My last 8 albums had went top 5 on iTunes, and this album didn't, because it was in the children's genre. It wasn't in country, obviously. It didn't even go top 20, but I didn't care. That was never what it was about. And I swear to you, for months, for about a year after that, I was getting messages from teachers, a lot of teachers that teach autistic kids,
Right.
or moms who have autistic kids, or moms who have kids that are kind of hard to deal with, whatever you want, whatever it is, you know. And they just were just thanking me, man, and just they were sending me videos of the whole class of autistic kids
Right.
in there singing the burrito song.
That is so
Together.
cute. I love that.
And I'm like, that's why I did that.
That's why you did it.
Not for sales.
Right.
Here I still am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still the most outlaw country singer in the land.
That's good.
And I did what I had to do.
I love it.
I didn't care about the sales.
Right.
And then I put out This Ain't the Hamptons, and it went top 5 again. So it was never about the sales. It was just about what I wanted to do for my fans, you know.
Yeah. And you're still doing it.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
I'm going to put out Cree Fish and Little Outlaws too. I already got one of the songs I play for them called the I Love You song. So, yes. So, yeah, I don't care what people think, man. I don't care what people tell me I
You
should
can't
do.
anymore.
Because
I mean, even
They don't pay
even
my
back
bills.
then. No, you're right.
they don't
You're
even
right.
send me money.
Right.
You know?
Not even flowers
if
or like
they
a thank
did,
you
I would
card.
still tell them no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's I get it. I absolutely get it. Determination came from
The blood in my veins. Mm-hmm. My grandfathers, my mom. Really my mom, you know. Everything she did was... I don't know how my mom did all she did.
right.
Take care of all of us during the turmoil and stuff. I mean, I'm a lot like my mom. Probably 80% of me is my mom. 20% is my dad. Yeah. And we don't like it when that 20% shows up, you know, but it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say 5% of the 20 is good.
Right.
So I got that 15%, you know, but that's just learning and getting older and, you know, learning what not to do. So you can't change it, you know. You
Have you learned what
you have
not
the blood
to
in
do?
your veins.
Have you learned what not
I'm
to
trying.
do? A
It's
for
hard.
effort.
It's hard. I do really good. 98% of all categories.
You're all about percentages.
I am.
Literally.
Killing it.
Yeah. 1%, 2%, 20%, 3%.
There's that 2%, baby.
I'm telling you.
That's called females. Females. The 2%. I don't know.
As I said in my she shed with Creed Fisher talking about females. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's what she shed.
That's what she should.
Yeah. You get it? Yep.
Yes, I
Boop.
love it.
Yeah. Yep. So what's in store?
Man, I walked for the first time today. in 3 months. It was a good day for me. And I wasn't hurting all that much and stuff, and it was just a really good day. I walked into the chiropractor on my own. He freaked out. He's like, okay.
Look at you.
Yeah. So it was a good day, man, for me personally. I'm just trying to get better every day, and I'm back on tour, obviously.
Yes.
And I just retired the throne.
There you
which
go.
is cool.
There you go.
For a minute, but
yeah.
And so I'm just trying to get back on track and go back to kicking ass,
So when I've had multiple surgeries, and we're not going to talk a whole lot about all of that because we know that you're up and you're moving, and we were with you last week, and you stood and did your show for the first time.
For the first time.
So
In
how
front of my
was
ex-wife and my daughter?
And how was that the next day?
It wasn't bad the next day.
That's good.
I was all right.
I got in a lot of trouble. I walked in after my hip replacement, and I walked in for my 2-week, maybe
Yeah.
3-week checkup, and I just kind of walked in there and sat down.
Are you telling me now what not to do? Is that what's happening here?
Yep. So I've had multiple knee surgeries, but my knee replacement was absolutely brutal, and it was a bad deal. I had all kinds of complications. You've had complications. We'll talk about that on our other deals. But when I walked in after my hip replacement, and I mean, I was in such bad shape that when it was done, I mean, I felt like, holy shit. I was like, let's freaking go. I mean, I hadn't felt that good.
That's how
I don't
I felt
even know,
today.
right? The best feeling. And I walked in, and he said, so where's your apparatus? Are you using a walker or a cast? No. He said.
It's funny. This is completely hilarious that you're saying this to me right now.
Yeah. He said, so.
It's prophetic.
You think your knee surgery is bad? He said, keep doing, and this is exactly how my doctor talks to me, just like I talked to him. He said, wait till you have your fucking hip joint in your hand, Tiffany. Keep it up. So I literally walked out of there, went and got me a cane and decked out my walker, and you've seen my crutches, what I did to my crutches. They're leopard print and all kinds of.
Did you use them a little more after that?
Yeah, because I was really not trying to walk and have. He said I've had one hip in 40 years of all the surgeries that he had done that actually had come out, and he said, "You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be my second." And so. Yeah.
That's
Creed, meet Tiffany. Tiffany, meet Creed. Yeah. We
That's
are.
me.
Yep, exactly. So
I can't sit still.
No, me neither.
I'm sorry.
I'm horrible
and I read
at it.
my body, and sometimes maybe I'm
And
wrong.
that's what they took.
Usually not wrong, though. But the first time, I didn't have any choice. I spit that first hardware out before I even got home, I think, But it's hard for me just to sit around
Same.
sit there.
Same.
And so it's been really hard, And I went to the last appointment, which was 3 weeks ago, and everything was still in place.
Right. Good.
The one hardware had moved a little, but they don't want to go back in because it hadn't moved that much. They don't want to go back in just for that. So
Right.
he just wanted me to be, take it easy and be
Yes.
easy on it. And I'm sorry, man, but when I get to a certain point, like I played that show, it's so much easier said than done.
It is.
Like, oh, don't move this leg.
Uh-huh.
Well, do I need to still urinate?
Right. Yeah.
Because if I go over there, this leg has to go with me.
Right.
I can't leave it in the chair,
It's the things
Everywhere I go, this thing has to go.
that go with you. Yeah. It's.
And so you get to a point where like, oh, I can step on this. It doesn't quite hurt.
Right.
That's how you start, And
And then the next thing
the next thing you know, you're standing on stage without a chair, which is what I did.
You did.
I just felt like I was ready. I
Good.
felt like my body was ready.
Listen to your body.
I do.
It's very
I had
important.
a weird situation though, and Saturday.
I mean, listen to it.
Because I know how the good Lord is, and the Satan too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was it wasn't Saturday, it was Friday. I was in Houston, and I had done the show. This was my first weekend walking, like on stage and whatnot. Did the show, everything's fine. I'm in the bar, because I always go back in the bar to hang out with the people, man. I don't know any other way.
That's so good.
I hate the other way, man.
Yeah.
I'm a party animal.
Well,
I'm gonna sit by myself.
real people appreciate that too.
I know. That's how I'll always be. I don't care if
That's why you're fans and your people and
always, man.
they can relate and respect.
I like my fans. I love my fans. And so I'm in there doing this meet and greet, or not meet and greet. It was just, signing autographs. I'm back in the bar after the show.
Right.
Signing autographs. There's a lot of people. And these two people walk up, and it's this young, this mother and daughter. And the mother comes to my right side, and the daughter goes over here. Well, the mother's maybe like 65, about 60, maybe about 65, 68, She's older, And she's facing this way, and she's walking to turn around, and we're going to take a picture.
Right.
Well, she gets about right here and just trips and goes, boop, like she fixed a face plant.
Yep.
Right in front of me. Well, I grabbed her and caught her.
And then,
on my bad leg.
of course you did.
Well, my good leg can't do nothing.
Right.
I'm this way, So I'm all tweaked this way, and I caught her. And she didn't face plant, and I bring her back up. And it definitely tweaked my leg.
Yeah.
It definitely tested it. I think I'm good at this point.
I had several experiences with things like that, but it's just...
It's like saying, I'll show you, come out here without crutches.
Yeah. 14 steps
I
forward
wouldn't change a
and
thing.
16
If I'd have been
back.
on crutches, I'd never caught her.
Right.
So I didn't mess up my hip again, I don't think. It just
You'll
really
know.
tested it.
You'll know.
It really tested it.
Yeah, just testing the hardware again, the new set.
Exactly.
So what are we doing new music wise? What do you got going on?
I've been working on a lot of new music.
You have some rabbits in the hat.
I've been doing I've been recording for about a full year now. And so I'm going through a divorce, and I can't put out new music right now.
That's
I'll
called
leave it there.
It's called a fluctuation.
Yeah.
Look it up in my dictionary.
It's called royalties.
Yeah.
Okay.
A royal fluctuation.
She owns half of it.
Actually.
Yeah. And so I've been kind of just recording a bunch and saving it, and I was going to do 2 albums, and then I just got to a point where all right, I'm going to put out 22 new songs, and do a double vinyl, just because it's been so long since I put an album out.
Yeah.
So it's called Between Heaven and Hell.
Okay.
Which is the most
relatable thing
I've been through at this point in my life, Literally been living this song the last couple years, and it has got so many good songs on there. I mean, the whole album is just fire. And it's I'm gonna do 22 songs, double vinyl, and it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Coming out next year. I'm excited.
That is so exciting.
It is super exciting. Of course, I'm gonna overplay it, and no one's gonna listen. Psych.
That's horseshit.
That's what Music Row would tell you.
Yeah.
No, I'm addicting them to this music, and then they're going to have it on their own.
There you go.
So, I've been playing a lot, for
Defy
the fans. Going live and playing it for the fans a lot.
Why don't you play something for us?
I would love to play something for you guys.
Let me get...
You got it for me?
Hey.
Because I'm barely walking.
Look. These
days. We have a guitar right here.
Looky there.
Thank you, Tiff. So, Tiff, this is one of the best love songs I ever wrote. Right here.
I'm sensitive and emotional, right?
I do. It ain't those pretty eyes. It ain't the way you wear that dress. It's the way you smile when I know you're proud of me. It ain't those sexy shoes. It ain't what all the other men see. No, it's something special that you only give to me. It ain't that diamond ring, the one I'm gonna put there on your hand. It's the way I feel when you tell me I'm your man. I love the way it feels when you tell me I'm your man. So I'll show you that I love you time and time and again. I'll always be your lover and your best friend, and I'll tell you so. 'Cause I want you to know I couldn't live without you and the look in your eyes. I'll always be here to hold you every damn time as I can. I always thank the good Lord every day I get to be your man. Well, this ain't no fairy tale, but hell yes, it just might be. I bring the best out in you, you bring the best out in me. I'll always be the man, be the one to hold you like you did. Till the day I die, baby girl, it's you and me. Till the last breath I take, baby girl, it's you and me. So I'll show you that I love you time and time again. I'll always be your lover, your best friend, and I'll take so. I want you to know that I couldn't live without you and the look in your eyes. I'll always be here to hold you every damn time I can. I always thank the good Lord every day I get to be your man. I show you that I love you time and time again. I'll always be your lover, your best friend, and I'll tell you so. 'Cause I want you to know I couldn't live without you and the look in your eyes. I'll always be there to hold you every damn time I can. I always thank the good Lord every day I get to be your man. I get to be your man. I'm blessed to be your man.
Woo! Creed Fisher, everybody. That was
Straight from the heart, right there, buddy.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Thank you all.
Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
It was a blast.
It was a blast.
There's so much more to come.
I had a great time.
We got some big things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about things that we can't tell you all about right now, but that's coming. That's coming soon. So, yeah, that's just a little taste of what's about to happen. I love you.
I love you back.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Mama. Appreciate
Keep
that.
doing it.
I'm gonna keep killing it.
Keep the
So is Mags.
keep the keep those joints in there
Oh,
where they belong.
I'm missing them right now. I'll tell you that.
That's not the one I was talking about. It's fine. I fucking love you.
I love you, Mama.
I love you.
Love you back. Thanks for having me.
Hey, y'all, like, share, follow Creed Fisher.
All right, good
We got
stuff.
some big stuff coming up. Rambling Gypsy Podcast. I'm Tiffany Foy, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace out.
I put a blessing on it, see me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest, holy water dripping from my neck to my crep, so I'm two-stepping on it like